The Shimmer appeared on a routine Wednesday at SETI's primary listening post in New Mexico. Dr. Sarah Chen nearly missed it, buried as it was beneath layers of cosmic background radiation. But there it was, a signal that didn't belong, a pattern too precise to be natural, moving toward Earth at impossible speeds. Within hours, every major observatory on the planet confirmed the same thing. Something artificial was approaching our solar system, and it was slowing down. The signal arrived 3 days before the ships. It was elegant in its simplicity, a repeating mathematical sequence that any technological civilization would recognize as intentional. Earth's combined scientific community took less than 6 hours to decode its meaning. We come to trade. Dr. Chen stood before the UN Security Council, her hand steady despite the weight of the moment. The vessels will reach Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours. Based on their deceleration pattern, we estimate at least 3 ships, each roughly the size of Manhattan. The council chamber erupted in controlled chaos. Representatives from every major nation demanded answers to questions humanity had never had to consider before. What did they want? What could Earth possibly have that an interstellar civilization would need? They didn't have to wait long for answers. The consortium ships emerged from their faster-than-light corridor, just beyond lunar orbit, their hulls seamlessly absorbing and redirecting sunlight in ways that defied terrestrial physics. Their design spoke of civilization thousands of years ahead of humanity's greatest achievements. Their first transmission came in perfect English, Mandarin, Russian, and 6 other major Earth languages simultaneously. Greetings, Earth. We represent the Galactic Consortium, a cooperative of 3,412 spacefaring species. We have come to discuss the Resonite. No one on Earth had ever heard of Resonite. The consortium's diplomatic liaison, a towering insectoid being who called itself Ambassador Zix-427, explained during the first face-to-face meeting in Geneva. Resonite is a crystalline compound that forms only in the presence of human consciousness fields, the ambassador's translation device conveyed. Your entire planet is rich with it, though you've never noticed its properties. To the galaxy at large, it is quite possibly the most valuable substance known. Dr. Chen, now serving as humanity's chief scientific representative, leaned forward. What exactly does this substance do? The answer changed everything. Resonite, it turned out, was the key to stable faster-than-light travel. While other methods existed, resonite-based drives were exponentially more efficient. And somehow, the mere presence of human neural activity caused this miracle material to form naturally in Earth's crust. The consortium's offer seemed generous at first. They would provide Earth with advanced technology, medical knowledge, and membership in their galactic community. In exchange, they wanted exclusive mining rights to Earth's resonite deposits. But Dr. Chen noticed something in the contract's fine print, a clause that would effectively give the consortium control over human population centers, as these were the primary formation sites of resonite. They didn't just want the mineral. They wanted control over its source, humanity itself. The UN Security Council's closed session lasted for 48 hours. When they emerged, Earth's response was unanimous, surprising even themselves with their unity. "Thank you for your generous offer," the Council's spokesperson announced to the consortium representatives. "However, Earth will be maintaining sole control over its resonite deposits. We are, of course, open to negotiating fair trade agreements." The consortium's response was immediate and cold. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. The resonite is too valuable to leave in the hands of a pre-FTL species. You will comply, or we will be forced to take more direct action." But humanity had already prepared for this possibility. In the 3 days between first contact and the consortium's arrival, Earth's governments had done something unprecedented. They had cooperated completely and in total secrecy. Every nuclear weapon on Earth had been quietly armed. Experimental defensive systems had been deployed. And most importantly, Dr. Chen's team had made a discovery about resonite that the consortium didn't know. Humans could not only cause its formation but could also prevent it entirely. As the consortium's deadline for compliance approached, humanity prepared to show the galaxy that Earth was not as primitive as they assumed. The age of human isolation was about to end, not with submission, but with humanity's first interstellar standoff. Dr. Chen looked out her office window at the massive alien ships hovering above Geneva. "They think they're dealing with children," she murmured to her assistant. "They're about to learn that humanity has grown up very, very quickly. The first shots in this new age wouldn't be fired with weapons, but with something far more powerful: humanity's newfound unity and their absolute refusal to be controlled. The galaxy was about to learn why you don't back humans into a corner." The real question wasn't whether Earth would survive the coming conflict, but whether the Galactic Consortium was prepared for what they had awakened. Humanity had spent its entire history fighting among itself. Now they had a common external threat, and thousands of years of warfare had taught them to be very, very good at defending what was theirs. The stage was set for humanity's debut on the galactic stage, and it would not be as the submissive species the consortium expected to find. The time had come for Earth to show the galaxy exactly what humanity was capable of when united against a common threat. The consortium's ultimatum expired on a Friday. Their massive ships still loomed over Earth's major cities, a constant reminder of the technological gap between humanity and their unwanted visitors. On the surface, Earth's response appeared exactly as the consortium had predicted: chaos. News channels worldwide broadcast heated arguments between nations. The American president publicly denounced Chinese secret dealings with the aliens. Russia announced it was mobilizing its forces. The EU fell into apparent disagreement over resource allocation. Social media exploded with conspiracy theories and calls for both submission and resistance. Exactly as planned. Deep beneath the Swiss Alps, in a facility that didn't officially exist, Dr. Chen sat at a circular table with representatives from Earth's most powerful nations. The room's quantum isolation field ensured absolute privacy from the consortium's advanced surveillance. Status report: General Maria Santos of Brazil commanded, her voice steady despite 20 hours without sleep. "The consortium is buying it," reported Colonel Wei from Chinese intelligence. "Their surveillance shows exactly what we want them to see: a planet in chaos, unable to form a unified response. Their latest transmission to their homeworld indicates they're preparing for a simple pacification operation." Dr. Chen pulled up a holographic display of Earth's resonite deposits. Phase 1 is complete. Every major resonite well has been seeded with the inhibitor compound. The moment we give the signal, we can render every deposit on Earth inert. The Australian representative leaned forward. "And they still have no idea we can synthesize it?" "None," Dr. Chen confirmed. "The lab in Antarctica has already produced enough synthetic resonite to power our prototype drives. Speaking of which," she nodded to Dr. Petal from India's space program, who activated another holographic display. "The conversion of our satellite network is proceeding ahead of schedule. 70% of our orbital platforms have been upgraded with the new shielding technology we reverse-engineered from the consortium's hull designs." General Santos smiled grimly. "And our special project, Operation Looking Glass, is ready," the Russian delegate confirmed. "The quantum entanglement network is operational. The moment they make a move, every major military installation on Earth will be linked with zero-lag communications. No signal for them to detect or interrupt." The room fell silent as they contemplated what was coming. They were about to go up against a civilization that could traverse galaxies, with technology centuries beyond Earth's current capabilities. But humanity had advantages the consortium couldn't imagine. First, they had unanimity. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth was working together in perfect secrecy. The public chaos was a carefully choreographed show, designed to make the consortium overconfident. Second, they had desperation. Humanity had looked into the abyss of subjugation and had collectively decided, "Never again Would they be at the mercy of another species? And third, they had something no other species had developed: the ability to not just create resonite, but to control it at a fundamental level. Their ships rely entirely on resonite-based technology, Dr. Chen reminded the group. They've become so dependent on it that their backup systems are practically prehistoric by their standards. The moment we trigger the inhibitor, their ships become very expensive orbiting paperweights, General Santos finished. The Chinese representative checked his quantum-encrypted tablet. The consortium has scheduled their final warning broadcast for tomorrow at 900 UTC. They plan to demonstrate their power by disabling Earth's electrical grid for 1 hour. Perfect timing, Dr. Chen said. That's exactly when the lunar facility comes online. While the consortium had been focusing their attention on Earth, humanity had been busy on the dark side of the moon. A base, constructed in sections over the past decade under the guise of various national space programs, now housed Earth's secret weapon, a massive array of quantum field generators. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. When the consortium attempted to shut down Earth's power grid, humanity would activate their own shutdown, but not of electricity. They would create a quantum field that would render all resonite within Earth's orbit temporarily inert. The consortium ships, so dependent on their miracle mineral, would find themselves suddenly powerless. Their backup systems would activate, yes, but those systems were designed for short-term emergency use, not sustained operation. Remember, Dr. Chen cautioned, we'll only have a 48-hour window before the field collapses. Everything has to be in place by then. The Australian representative grinned. Oh, it will be. The consortium thinks they're dealing with a primitive species that's about to learn its place in the galaxy. Instead, they're about to learn why humanity's greatest advances have always come during times of crisis. As the meeting concluded, Dr. Chen remained behind, studying the holographic display of the consortium ships. Tomorrow, those ships would try to teach humanity a lesson about power. Instead, they would learn one about hubris. The greatest weapon in humanity's arsenal wasn't their technology, their unity, or even their control over resonite. It was the fact that the consortium had severely underestimated them. They saw Earth's apparent chaos and division as weakness, never suspecting it was merely the carefully crafted opening move in humanity's first interstellar chess game. The pieces were set. Tomorrow, the real game would begin. At precisely 900 UTC, the consortium began their demonstration of power. Their massive ships pulsed with energy, preparing to temporarily cripple Earth's electrical infrastructure. They expected panic, submission, and chaos. Instead, they got silence. Beneath the lunar surface, Dr. Chen stood before the quantum field array, her hand hovering over the activation sequence, initiating Operation Blackout in 3, 2, 1. The array hummed to life, generating a field that encompassed the entire Earth-Moon system. In an instant, every particle of natural resonite within range became inert. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The consortium ships, their systems suddenly starved of their critical power source, shuddered in orbit. Emergency lights flickered across their massive hulls as backup systems engaged. Their attempted show of force died before it began. Signal received from looking glass stations worldwide, reported General Santos through the quantum comm. All consortium ships are running on emergency power. Their shields are down. Their weapons are offline. Phase 1 complete. Dr. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Begin Phase 2. Across Earth, hidden installations powered up. Not with resonite, but with something new. Humanity's first contribution to galactic technology. Deep in the Antarctic facility, Dr. Patil activated the synthetic resonite production line. Unlike natural resonite, this version was stable without human consciousness fields, and more importantly, immune to the quantum disruption field. The consortium's arrogance had led them to dismiss humanity's scientific capabilities. They never considered that in the brief time since first contact, Earth's scientists might crack the code of resonite synthesis. They had assumed humans were simply lucky hosts for a natural phenomenon. That assumption was about to cost them dearly. Earth's orbital defense platforms, quietly retrofitted over the past weeks, powered up with synthetic resonite cores. Each satellite transformed, revealing weapons systems based on reversed-engineered consortium technology. "Attention consortium vessels." General Santos's voice boomed across all frequencies. "This is Earth Defense Command. Your ships are currently powerless, and you are surrounded by our defense grid. We suggest you consider your next moves very carefully." The response from the consortium's flagship was immediate, though notably less confident than their previous communications. This is impossible. You can't have this level of technology. You're a pre-FTL species." "Actually," Dr. Chen cut in, her voice calm, "we were a pre-FTL species. Past tense. Amazing what humanity can accomplish when properly motivated. Now, shall we discuss new terms for our relationship?" The next 12 hours became known in galactic history as the Great Reversal. The consortium, faced with irrefutable proof of Earth's technological leap, found themselves in an unprecedented situation, negotiating from a position of weakness with a species they had planned to subjugate. But humanity's gambit wasn't simply about showing strength. In the Antarctic facility, Dr. Patel prepared their next revelation. "We are prepared to share our synthetic resonite technology," she announced to the stunned consortium representatives. "Unlike natural resonite, it doesn't require human consciousness fields to form or maintain stability. It could revolutionize galactic travel, make it accessible to species that currently can't use resonant drives." The implications hit the consortium representatives like a physical force. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was offering to reshape the entire galactic economy. The monopoly on FTL travel that had kept the consortium in power for millennia was about to end. In the Lunar Command Center, Dr. Chen watched the diplomatic feeds with satisfaction. The consortium ships hung powerless in orbit, a testament to the dangers of underestimating humanity. But the real victory wasn't military, it was strategic. "They're receiving transmissions from multiple non-consortium worlds," Colonel Wei reported. "It seems news of synthetic resonate has leaked. We're getting requests for diplomatic relations from 17 different species." Dr. Chen nodded. This had been the true goal all along. Earth didn't want to merely defend itself. It wanted to reshape the galactic political landscape. By offering an alternative to the consortium's monopoly on FTL travel, humanity had instantly made itself invaluable to countless civilizations. The quantum disruption field would fade in another 36 hours, but it didn't matter anymore. The consortium's attempt to subjugate Earth had instead catapulted humanity onto the galactic stage as a major power. Not through military might alone, but through innovation, unity, and the element of surprise. As the diplomatic messages continued to flood in, Dr. Chen thought about how quickly everything had changed. 3 weeks ago, humanity had been alone in the universe. Now they were about to become the center of a new galactic order. The gambit had paid off. Humanity had turned a moment of crisis into an opportunity for transformation. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would Earth. The consortium made their fatal error exactly where humanity expected. They couldn't accept defeat gracefully. As the quantum disruption field entered its final hours, Earth's sensors detected a massive surge of encrypted transmissions from the disabled consortium ships. "They're calling for reinforcements," Colonel Wei confirmed, studying the decoded signals in the Lunar Command Center. "A battle fleet. At least 30 capital ships." Dr. Chen remained calm. "Right on schedule. General Santos. Operation Checkmate is in position." The Brazilian general responded through the quantum network. "All orbital platforms are armed with synthetic resonite warheads. The lunar defense grid is operational. And our special surprise is ready." The consortium's backup plan was predictable, overwhelming force. What they didn't realize was that humanity had prepared for this possibility long before they even arrived. The very public chaos of Earth's nations had masked an unprecedented military buildup. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, A network of automated factories had been producing advanced weapons systems based on reverse-engineered consortium technology. The Antarctic facility hadn't just cracked synthetic resonite, it had unlocked dozens of other technological breakthroughs. The consortium battle fleet arrived exactly as the quantum disruption field collapsed. Their disabled ships in Earth orbit sputtered back to life, their crews no doubt relieved to have power restored. The reinforcement fleet emerged from FTL in an attack formation that had conquered countless worlds. Attention Earth forces, the consortium admiral's transmission boomed. Your resistance, while impressive, ends now. Surrender your synthetic resonite technology, or we will be forced to take more aggressive action. In response, Dr. Chen simply nodded to Dr. Patel. Across Earth's orbit, thousands of seemingly innocent satellites simultaneously transformed. What the consortium had dismissed as primitive communication devices revealed themselves as state-of-the-art weapon platforms, each powered by synthetic resonite cores. But Earth's real surprise wasn't in orbit. It was beneath the ocean. Initiate Project Leviathan, General Santos commanded. The Pacific Ocean began to churn. From depths that had concealed them from consortium scans, massive shapes emerged. Humanity's secret fleet, submarines converted into spacecraft, their hulls restructured with synthetic resonite technology. They had been designed specifically to counter consortium tactics, built by a species that had spent centuries perfecting the art of underwater warfare. You see, Dr. Chen's voice carried across all frequencies. Humanity has a long history of preparing for wars we hope never to fight. When you threatened us, you didn't just unite Earth's nations. You gave us access to advanced technology and a very good reason to adapt it for defense. The consortium fleet's formation wavered as their sensors registered the true extent of Earth's preparations. They had expected to find a primitive planet scrambling to defend itself. Instead, they faced a fully prepared opponent who had anticipated their every move. Your ships rely entirely on resonite-based technology, Dr. Chen continued. But our vessels? They're hybrid designs. Even if you could replicate our quantum disruption field, we'd still be operational. We've learned from history never to depend on a single point of failure. The consortium admiral's response was cut short as Earth's defense grid activated. Synthetic resonite-powered energy beams lanced through space, not attacking the consortium ships directly, but creating a complex web of interdiction fields. The battle fleet found itself divided into manageable segments, their coordinated attack strategy shattered. This is your final warning, General Santos announced. Earth is not interested in conquest or destruction. But if you force this conflict, you should know that humanity has spent its entire history preparing for moments exactly like this. We've fought ourselves for millennia. We've imagined and countered every possible form of attack. We've developed weapons specifically designed to defeat technologically superior forces. To demonstrate this point, one of Earth's converted submarines moved into position. Its main weapon wasn't a conventional array. It was a scaled-up version of the quantum disruption technology, powered by synthetic resonite. The beam struck a single consortium vessel, instantly rendering its resonite-based systems inert. The massive ship, now powerless, began to drift. The message was clear. Earth could disable the entire fleet at will. Perhaps, Dr. Chen suggested diplomatically, it's time to discuss a new arrangement. One that recognizes Earth as an equal partner in galactic affairs, not a resource to be exploited. The consortium fleet held position, their admiral no doubt wrestling with the greatest military and diplomatic disaster in their history. They had come to subdue a primitive world. Instead, they had created a new superpower, one that had outmaneuvered them at every turn. In the Lunar Command Center, Dr. Chen watched the standoff with quiet satisfaction. The consortium's mistake hadn't been underestimating Earth's technology. It had been underestimating humanity's capacity to adapt, innovate, and unite in the face of external threats. The galaxy was about to learn a crucial lesson. Humanity might be new to interstellar politics, but they were very, very old hands at warfare and survival. 1 year after the consortium's failed show of force, Earth's skyline had changed dramatically. The threatening silhouettes of warships had been replaced by civilian vessels from dozens of species, all drawn to humanity's newest export, hope in the form of synthetic resonate. Dr. Chen stood in the newly constructed Galactic Exchange Center in Singapore, watching representatives from 30 different species negotiate trade agreements. The massive structure, a blend of Earth architecture and alien design principles, symbolized humanity's new role in the galaxy. The latest figures are in, Dr. Puddle reported, joining her at the observation window. Over 200 worlds have now switched to synthetic resonant drives. The consortium's monopoly on FTL travel is officially broken. But breaking the consortium's power had only been the beginning. Humanity's real achievement had been what came after. Instead of using their technological breakthrough to establish their own monopoly, Earth had done something unprecedented in galactic history. They had shared it. The synthetic resonite production technology was made available to any civilization that agreed to a simple set of principles: peaceful cooperation, fair trade, and absolute prohibition of slavery or forced labor. Report from the Mars colonies, General Santos announced, her hologram materializing beside them. The first non-human settlement is complete. The Arcturians are already adapting our terraforming techniques for use on their own worlds. This, too, had been part of Earth's grand strategy. By helping other species establish colonies in the solar system, humanity had transformed potential rivals into invested partners. The solar system was becoming a hub of galactic cooperation, a model for what could be achieved when species work together instead of trying to dominate each other. The consortium, their power significantly diminished, had been forced to adapt. They still controlled vast territories, but their influence waned with each passing day as more worlds gained independence through access to synthetic resonite technology. The new Galactic Council convenes next week, Colonel Wee noted, examining his quantum tablet. Early voting projections suggest Earth's proposal for the Free Trade and Development Act will pass unanimously. Dr. Chen nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. The act would establish guidelines for sharing advanced technology among developing worlds, preventing any single power from maintaining the kind of technological monopoly the consortium had used to control the galaxy. But perhaps humanity's greatest achievement hadn't been technological or political, it had been philosophical. Earth's example had shown the galaxy a different way forward. Species that had accepted the consortium's dominance for millennia began to question the old order. We've received another request for cultural exchange, Dr. Patel mentioned. The Zelaxians want to study Earth's historical records, particularly our resistance movements and liberation struggles. That was happening more and more frequently. Other species had begun to realize that humanity's rapid rise hadn't been just about technology. It had been about experience, centuries of fighting against seemingly insurmountable odds, of refusing to accept dominance, of finding ways to defeat superior forces. In the space of 1 year, humanity had gone from an isolated species to a galactic power. But unlike the consortium, Earth's influence wasn't built on control and fear. It was built on innovation, cooperation, and an unwavering commitment to independence. Message from the lunar shipyards, General Santos reported. The first joint species exploration vessel is ready for launch. Human, Arcturian, and Zelaxian crews working together to map the unknown regions. Dr. Chen smiled at this news. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was helping to guide that change. Not through force or domination, but through example and opportunity. The old order, built on monopolies and subjugation, was crumbling. In its place, a new system was emerging, one where technological advancement served the many rather than the few, where cooperation yielded greater benefits than conquest. Looking out over the bustling exchange center, Dr. Chen reflected on how far they'd come. Earth had faced potential subjugation and emerged not just free, but as a catalyst for galactic transformation. They had turned a moment of crisis into an opportunity for revolution. You know, she mused to her colleagues, The consortium's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating our technology or our unity. It was failing to understand that humanity's greatest strength isn't in our weapons or our innovations. She gestured to the diverse gathering of species below, all engaged in peaceful commerce and exchange of ideas. Our greatest strength is our ability to imagine a better way, and then make it reality. The galaxy had expected Earth to be just another conquered world. Instead, humanity had become something far more powerful, a source of hope, a model of resistance, and a proof that the old ways of domination and control could be overcome. The new order wasn't perfect, but it was better. And that, perhaps, was humanity's most important lesson to the galaxy. The future doesn't have to be perfect to be worth fighting for. It just has to be better than the past. As the Singapore sun set on another day of interstellar cooperation, Dr. Chen knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity had changed the galaxy forever, not through conquest, but through something far more powerful, the simple act of showing that there was another way. The stars no longer represented threats to be defended against. They were opportunities waiting to be explored together.